Coconino Cooperative Extension, and we're here at the bus stop garden. It's October and it's time to clean up the garden. We were getting ready to turn some of these plants in and to compost some of them when we realized we actually have a lot of seed that have matured on some of the plants that we planted. So we're going to take advantage of that and save seeds. The first plant that we're going to collect seed from is the Hopi red dye amaranth, which we see right here. You can see all the seeds that are already on this plant, and this is a really easy plant to harvest seed from. But the first thing that we're going to do is mark our bag that we're going to put the seeds in. To harvest this seed, we're just going to put the seed head in the bag, this plastic bag, and shake it so that the seeds can fall off into the bag. We're not going to store these seeds in this plastic bag. They'll be better in a paper bag, but it's an easy way to collect the seeds. And if we look closely at the bag, all the little black seeds are the mature seeds of this Hopi red dye amaranth. Here we have a marigold that actually is still flowering in October, but it also has many seed heads that are matured. We can just pull off one of these seed heads and we can see all the seeds that come out of that one seed head. And so here we have some nasturtiums where the seeds actually came from the Grow Flagstaff Seed Library. Here we see some seeds from some nasturtium flowers that have already matured, but the seeds are still very green. So they aren't matured. So we need to leave these on the plant a little longer until they turn brown to dark brown, and then we can harvest them. If we harvest these now, they still have a lot of moisture in them. They probably won't mature very well. Here we have some sugar snap peas, and so some of the pea pods are very dry, but we also have peas that are still on the vine that we can harvest to enjoy eating. So in this example, we can pick the dry pods like this and then just open them up, and we can see all the little peas inside. Now again, we want to make sure these are completely dry, so we'll take them into the extension office and put them in a paper bag so we can make sure they're completely dry. Here we have a section in the bus stop garden where a mixture of lettuce varieties were sown. And in this situation, we do have lettuce plants that are going to seed, but we're not going to want to harvest that seed because we don't know if they've mixed up the genetics with other cultivars of lettuce that's in the bed or not. So in this situation, we'll actually turn these plants into the garden as a green manure because we don't know what kind of plants we're going to get from any seeds that we harvest from this bed. Here we have an example of glass gem corn. One of the things with collecting seed from your garden is that you need to know if there's other varieties of that corn or tomato or lettuce that might pollinate your plants. And in this case, we only have glass gem corn, so we're pretty sure that only glass gem pollen pollinated these ears of corn. And if we look closely here, we can see that the corn kernels are beginning to develop, but they're not quite mature. So we're going to leave these ears of corn out in the garden for maybe another 2 weeks, and hopefully these seeds will mature within the next couple of weeks. Our last plant we're going to talk about that we can save seed from is a sun gold tomato. So this is a cherry tomato, and this is the only tomato we have in this region of the garden because we want to know that it was pollinated by sun gold cherries so that when we harvest the seed, next year's plants will actually be sun gold cherry tomatoes. For these plants, we'll use the wet technique to get the seeds from them, and you can find a talk about how to harvest tomato seeds using the wet method on our website. The last thing we're going to talk about today are herbs, and we have several herbs that are growing in this bed. Many of these don't have mature seed yet, but if we look at this Italian parsley, we can see that these plants are forming the umbels, and this is where we're going to find the seeds maybe in about 2 or 3 weeks. We also have 2 types of basil. We have an Italian large leaf basil, but again, these flowers aren't mature yet, so the seed isn't mature. We'll need to harvest those seeds in a couple weeks. However, basil is very sensitive to cold weather, and so as soon as it freezes, we'll probably lose those plants. We also have an example of a purple basil over here that hasn't gone to seed yet. So it's going to be unlikely we're going to be able to collect basil seed from this garden, but we're going to be able to collect seed from our parsley and maybe also from our thyme plant that we see down here. And you can see bees really love thyme. Even in October, we have bees that are around looking for pollen. So it's a really great thing to keep these flowers in your garden.